So wow. Hey guys, it's me. I know it's been a while since I've actually made or posted a video. Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. I've just had a lot of different things. I've had my own experiences with new things. I've been playing a lot more games for myself. I've watched la- last week I literally watched 4 different TV shows. I finished 4, and one of them had 8 seasons. Yeah. Here we are with a review on one of two shows that I want to do a review on. I actually sort of want to do a third, so I might do a third. But here are the 3 shows to a sort of 3-part, but not really. They're not going to really matter that much. Series of a review. So this video, as you can probably tell from the title, is about CW The Flash, the show with 8 freaking seasons and a 9th one coming soon. And oh boy, I have a review for that one. Second show is Arcane. I watched this because I had nothing else to watch, and I learned how good Arcane was. I'm a bit late for both of these shows for a review. Actually, all 3 of these shows. But, and of course, I want to do Hitmonkey. I thought that show was pretty good for what it was, It was a show about a monkey. But either way, The Flash. CW's The Flash. The longest and one of the worst CW shows that I have ever seen. Oh my gosh, holy moly. I watched up till season 7 before I started another show with Aria 386. I started watching the CW Superman and Lois, and that show's good. That show's really good. And I just couldn't help but think, this was made by the people who made The Flash? Like, there's the acting in The Flash is okay sometimes. That's one of the good things I can give with it. Sometimes the emotional scenes are okay. Sometimes some villains make sense. But, hear me out here. Most of the time, the villains are sort of trash. And the Flash is sort of an imbecile at all times. But that's the biggest thing. Whenever I talk about The Flash, CW's The Flash, everyone always says to me, but, Ben P. Chan, it's a show about a guy with super speed. He's overpowered. He can't be allowed to just complete everything in one go. Yeah, you might be right there. Yeah, you know what? You guys might be right there. But, per se, let's talk about Leonard Snart. Clearly, he was a villain for all of Season 1, and he was just a guy with a gun. Barry doesn't even try. He was just a guy with a gun. Barry is so much faster. Barry can literally doesn't care about anyone else because he has to ask the villain if they would please stop being a villain. And people get hurt. People die because of Barry Allen. Not that much in Season 1. That's a real thing to talk about. I actually watched this YouTuber. I don't remember exactly who it was. I'll put their name on the screen. Their YouTube videos are down in the description. They did an amazing sort of breakdown of how Barry could have stopped or saved people in the first 3 seasons. I'm hoping, please give me a 4th season. 4th season, in my opinion, was the most awful season, but we'll get into that. Okay. First thing we have to talk about. All 8 seasons. Okay. Wow, okay. There's 8 seasons of the show. The last 2 seasons have slightly less episodes than all the rest of the seasons, which have 24 episodes in each of them, which episodes are around an hour long, around 40 minutes long. But if you watched it on television, it would be around an hour with 20 minutes worth of commercials and ads. But yeah, okay. The Flash is a show about Barry Allen. He got struck by lightning during the particle accelerator, which was supposed to revolutionize the world, and he gained super speed. He's not very smart. And every single character will eventually in this show say, "Run, Barry, run." So we're gonna play every single time that Barry Allen is said, "Run, Barry, run" to. Right about now. I'm gonna try to find literally every single time. Do you know how many times that is? That is 8 seasons worth of, like, Iris and Joe and Harrison Wells and Cisco and Caitlin saying, "Run, Barry, run." Because this is the most dumb thing ever. Play the clips.
Run, Barry, run! Now run, Barry, run! Run, Barry, run! Run, Barry, run! Run, Barry! Run! Run, Barry, run! Run, Barry! Run!
Run, Barry.
Run, Barry! Run!
Then run, Barry. Run.
Run, Barry! Run! Now run, Barry. Run. Now. Run. Barry. Run.
Run, Hunter. Run!
Now run, Jesse. Run. Wallace, run! Run, Wally. Run. Run, Barry, run!
Now run, Iris. Run.
Run, Mr. Allen, run.
Run, Dad. Run!
Run, Nora. Run.
And run, Ron. Run!
Run, Captain, run.
Run, Iris. Run!
Before we get back into the actual video, I just wanted to say, sorry if it felt weird that I added a bunch of other clips too of Wally. I actually just got this from a YouTube video of Wally, XS, Iris, Joe, Grodd. I just felt like it should be there, and it just upped the time a bit. So back onto the video. Okay. Now that you've seen literally every Run Barry Run, hopefully I don't get copyrighted from that, but I would honestly be fine because I don't plan on making money from this video. This video is purely out of all the reasons why you should not watch CW's The Flash except for Season 1. Season 1 being the best season and having the, for sure, second best costume. Second best because I actually decently liked Season 8's costume. It actually looked like, you know, The Flash. It had the gold boots and everything. The red was the right color, the perfect color. But Season 1's costume, the dark red, greatest thing ever. Okay, so here we are. Ready to talk about this plot. So, here are my main... You know what? Not the plot. Here are my main gripes. 1. Literally, Barry Allen can solve literally anything. And sometimes he does. But the rest of the times, he doesn't. There are some exception villains that I can say, oh yeah, he can't stop them. Because their powers can either counter him or, are the same as his. So we're immediately taking the Reverse Flash, sort of. I'll get into more of why he's only sort of off the I'm mad at you because you got plot armor bigger than Barry freaking Allen's. Zoom, Savitar, that sand guy from season 2, Godspeed. Yeah, I'd say that's about it. Yeah, you have about, 5 or 6 villains that I would say, yeah, no. Barry Allen could literally take out any one of them except for these, few. And again, there is 24 episodes in almost every single season. Another main gripe. The side characters that get kicked off are sometimes good side characters. So, I know Ralph Dibny, actor, was sort of racist. And yeah, he deserved to get kicked off the show. But, Julian? I really liked Julian. He was just the worst to Barry Allen. And Barry Allen was the worst. So, I liked Julian, but he got kicked off of the show because, I don't know, I didn't actually search it up. Again, I never search anything up. But I watched this show from season 1 to 8. And, yeah. And, of course, Harry. Harry was definitely one of my favorite of the many Harrison Wells. Which I'm going to talk about that later. Harry was a good side character. What's another gripe? Oh, yeah, the amount of times that Barry just doesn't use his brain. Like, I've already mentioned how he lets villains go but sometimes he sees that a villain is bad. He knows that this villain is bad. They're like a mass murderer, and he will still try to recruit them. And yes, Aria386 did tell me, well, that's true heroism. No, it isn't. Because millions of people die later. Like, hundreds of people. And the Flash would still go, stop! Please! Don't be a bad guy! Like, come on, Barry Allen. You're the fastest man alive. You're kidding me. Like, literally. Okay, dumb villains. I can't really get mad at the show for this, as characters like Abracadabra and the Trickster are probably, and most definitely, from the comics. I did like to see Mark Hamill as the Trickster. It was pretty cool, but, yeah. They weren't very good. The side villains are actually some of the worst parts about the show. They're side villains that are completely defenseless against a superpower like super speed. Make them the worst villains. Obviously, there's some good side villains, sort of. What can I really say is a good side villain? King Shark and Gorilla Grodd. Oh wait, no, those are main villains that Barry Allen can't beat, which I forgot to put on that list. Because they're too heavy to move. Sorry. But, yeah. There's not really a lot of good things about this show. But the good things sort of stick out. Costume design for specifically the Flash and the Reverse Flash. Really good, okay? There is one specific design that I despise. I'm pretty sure that was the Season 4 and 6 style. It looked ugly as frick, and if you will, Benvi-chan in photo editing, please place that picture there. Okay, wow, okay, yeah. That suit looks awful. But Season 1, 8, 7 suits actually look pretty good. Season 7 is probably my third favorite costume. No, Season 3, Season 2 had a pretty good costume. Which was basically the same as Season 1. but with the white emblem, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, season 1 to 3 basically had the same costume. But season 7, the reason I don't like it as much as season 8 is just the fact that the gold boots are, classic for the Flash. The Barry Allen Flash, the one they're making, So, that's why I don't like season 7 as much, but it still looks pretty nice. Okay, some things I didn't like about the show. Some more things I didn't like about the show that I just remembered. Their use of Wally West. Wally West was brought in season 3, but he was already Wally West, sort of in season 2. He just was not Kid Flash, And Kid Flash, as a matter of fact, was absolutely done horribly wrong. He was treated as a side character who would only be used when Barry was, throwing a temper tantrum. And it just felt wrong. It didn't feel right that he just was there just to be there, just to be like, oh my gosh, that's Wally West, guys. That's that guy who's Kid Flash. And I can say different things for some sort of good parts to the show. This is sort of good. I never heard of XS before this show. Maybe she isn't a comic character, but she probably is. It was pretty awesome to see XS. Her season might not have been the greatest, and it was probably the third worst season out of them all. Yeah, I would honestly say that the Savitar season 3, was better than freaking season 2 and season 5. Season 6 was pretty bad too. But I digress. There is a lot of things that happen in The Flash. It was nice to see some of the familiar characters from other CW shows. It was nice to see characters that I haven't seen in live action put in live action, like Wally West, Impulse, XS. It was nice to see them actually show up because, again, I've never heard of XS. I've heard of Wally West and Impulse from not Injustice. From Young Justice, a show I watched as a kid. But yeah, as a younger kid, I'm sort of still one. I'm only, yeah. I've been having a lot of fun watching these shows. The Flash, for sure, was not a good one. Now, let's start talking about the seasons. Sort of the main gist and bad guys of them. Just to sort of get you understand, if you don't actually want to hear this and want to watch all 8 seasons by yourself, you are a total psychopath like myself. But, go on ahead. This is a spoiler warning. Cut to this point in the video, and, yeah, you can, go spoiler free. If you're still here, that means you're ready for spoilers. And if you're ready for spoilers, that means it's time for me to start spoiling. The gist of season 1 all the way to 8. Like, sort of main villains. We begin off with season 1, the classic, the best season of them all. Very great season. It begins off with Barry Allen. We have the Flash. We have the OG team. We have Cisco, Caitlin, Joe. We have Eobard / Harrison Wells. We got We got Eddie. It's like you had some good characters there. They were pretty good characters. Yeah, they were pretty good characters. Season 1's main gimmick was, of course, the main villain, which was the Reverse Flash, Barry. Barry's mom's murderer. And he had to catch him at no cost. No cost. He had to catch him no matter what. And it was pretty cool that Arrow and Firestorm got to fight alongside him to fight Thawne. It's pretty cool. Thawne was a really good villain in Season 1. It was, for comic readers, it wasn't that big of a twist, nor for people watching, but if you were a child, like me, when I first watched Season 1, 2, 4, yeah, I watched these when I was a kid, and then I came back to watch them again. Yeah. And Thawne was definitely one of the best villains in the entire show. And he stays being a villain, which is why I sort of dislike him. Yeah. But whenever he came on screen, I wasn't screaming, "Barry, do something with your super speed," because Thawne had that ability. Season 1 had a lot less villains that you can say Barry couldn't defeat all on his own. Like the metal guy, per se, except he was able to be beat. Or the gas guy, but he was able... his ability could have been beat if Barry just didn't reveal his location and ran at super speed. But who... who cares? It's CW The Flash. And basically, Thawne was the first villain you would really see that you could sit back and say, that's actually not that bad of a villain. Maybe it's because he has the same abilities as the Flash, unlike freaking Leonard Snart, which, yeah, I know I'm sort of copying the guy that I watched videos, opinion, on Leonard Snart, like, frick you, Leonard Snart. But it's really irritating that he didn't catch Leonard Snart in either season 1 or 2 just because he was a guy with an ice gun. Barry can react to... Okay, Season 2. Now, Season 2. Season 2 was about Zoom. I'm not sure who exactly Zoom was in the comics. I think he was a clone of Barry, though. And he was Hunter Zolomon or something like that. Zolomon Hunter, and he liked Caitlin. You had, again, the OG team, except with a little bit of new blood. Harry. Which, again, I've already said, Harry is my favorite Wells. Out of all the Wells, he is literally the best Wells. Season 4 sort of messed him up, though. But, he's still the best Wells. Right behind him is HR. And Sherlock. I didn't really like Nash that much. But yeah, Season 2, Barry was losing his speed, which makes it more understandable that he was losing to his criminals, but also, for that one guy who kept on getting older, they literally just could have shot him because he was getting punched and beat up, and Barry was getting beat up and punched, by this guy, and Joe and Cisco just decided to sit there and watch. It's fair. It's pretty funny. But yeah, either way, there was a lot in Season 2. But again, I'm just giving really fast, sort of fast, easy analysis is, there was not a lot that really happened. There was a bunch of different metas, but that doesn't really matter, except for King Shark, who was imprisoned. Obviously, we'll go to him later. Season 3 then had Savitar, who was just a clone of Barry Allen, who was angry and wanted to kill Iris. They stop him by H.R. Wells being the greatest character. This is the season with Julian and H.R. Wells, which are some of my favorite characters in the entire show. I really liked these characters. Caitlin was there. Cecile was added. She was already there, though. She was, added to the main cast, though. Cisco was there. HR, Harry, Jesse, Wally, Joe, Barry. This is when the team sort of started flooding with characters, except Jesse and Harry left. But, yeah. We started having more characters. Then, by season 4, Wally West ditched the team. Cecile married to Joe. So now you have Cecile. H.R. Wells died to Savitar. Iris and Barry are married. Cisco and Caitlin are still Cisco and Caitlin, but during season 3, Cisco met Gypsy. So yeah, season 4 had the dumbest villain of all, the Thinker, who can just think good. I find him to be one of the worst villains in the entire show. Tied with season 6's villain, and season 5's villain. Who was season 5's villain again? I literally don't remember. Oh, yeah, no. Never mind. Season 5's villain was perfectly fine. Not story-wise, but, I mean, technically, the Flash couldn't have beat him with super speed. Whew, okay. Season 4 had the Thinker, and they really tried to just dumb Harry down, and then decided, in Crisis on Infinite Earths, they would immediately kill Harry off. Frick you, I really liked Harry. He had a great character development in season 4, where he was getting dumber and dumber, but his heart was getting bigger and bigger, and he wasn't really an emotional kind of guy, but he was so great. He was so great. Season 5 is, in the fans' opinions, the absolute worst season. I can say that season 4 was worse, but just because its villain was much worse. The Thinker didn't actually really have anything to, counter the Flash that much, other than meta-dampening powers, sort of, on his chair. But after he stopped bringing his chair everywhere, it stopped really becoming something him like a threat, as well as the Thinker being the absolute worst and just having the worst outcomes. He just becomes an utter psychopath eventually. He actually was oh yeah, people shouldn't use technology at first, and then halfway through the season he's like, I must destroy the world and make everyone dumb. Haha. I don't understand how it went to that. Season 5 brought in, what was his name? Cicada, yeah, that's what his name was. Who had, who was one of the new characters with meta tech instead of meta abilities. The meta tech people were only okay, and of course, it had Eobard and XS in it. But really, all I can really say about this season was that they fought this guy named Cicada, who basically had a sort of sickle that can dampen meta powers, because it was literally a piece of a satellite with meta dampening stuff, so yeah, and it was a strong thing. And there was 2 villains, 2 cicadas. There was a girl one, which was Cicada's daughter in the future, and then there was a guy one, but that guy one died. He was the dad of the second cicada. But yeah. All this season really led to was Eobardthon escaping because excess, and then excess, disappearing until season 7 rolls around. Season 6 had a bad villain. A bad villain as in, like, the Thinker. This villain couldn't really do anything to stop Barry's super speed. And Barry can speed think. And they play it off like he can't unless something blah 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 or blah blah blah. But really it's, he can speed think because he reads books super fast. He completes his papers super fast, so he can clearly speed think. But so he can technically think as fast as the Thinker if he wanted to. Which is why I think the Thinker is the worst villain and this one is the second worst villain, just because they're not speedsters. I know there's not enough speedsters to go around, but it just doesn't make sense that Barry Allen can't beat these guys. Villain number 6 was one of the only villains that Barry reasoned with, but there was also another villain in Season 6. There was also Crisis on Infinite Earths in Season 6, where he had his okay costume in Season 6. We're going to start off with Crisis on Infinite Earths. Sorry. We're going to start off with the first villain, which was freaking Goo Doctor Guy, who basically wanted to cure a disease, but became a bad guy somehow. I despised this villain. He definitely was a harder villain for Barry to take down. I think it's actually fair, because if Barry touched him, he would basically be infected with a disease. Like a sort of disease thing that would control him. So yeah, it actually makes sense that Barry was able to have a harder time, but the way they defeated him wasn't good, and the way he came back wasn't good either. Okay. Crisis on Infinite Earths was a 6-part series that I didn't get to watch the 6th episode because I couldn't find it, but I watched the first 5 episodes. I'm not even sure what they would do on the 6th episode other than adjust. So basically, Crisis on Infinite Earths was a big event where they would basically go around and try to save the multiverse from a multiversal threat that basically destroyed all Earths except for Earth 1, which Earth 1 is where the Flash, Arrow, and Batwoman take place. But they get Superman and Lois, they get the classic Superman, who is also played by the guy who plays the Atom. They get a bunch of different guys, and then really all I can say about this is that Oliver Queen dies, and then stuff sort of go crazy, and every universe merges into one called Earth Prime. Basically, villains have now escaped. Yeah, blah blah blah. Then they fight in season 6. Then they fight a freaking mirror. Yep, they fight someone who has the ability to make mirror copies of people that she pulls into her mirror. Yeah, basically she does that, and Barry eventually stops her. Yeah, nothing really special happens. Well, then Season 7. Season 7 had a bunch of side villains, but really the big villain was, of course, Godspeed, who, again, I can't complain about because he was basically Zoom. He took Barry's speed, but he also was very fast himself. They beat him by basically getting Eobardthon and Barry to make lightning swords and fought him in a sword duel. Yes, this is one of the dumbest things ever, but there. And then Eobard tries to backstab Barry for this amazing scene where Barry then slow-mos time and then punches Thawne backwards, and then Thawne goes, "What did you do? What did you do?" And then Barry just goes, "I got faster, didn't you?" And he said, "No. No, not yet." I can't play that clip knowingly because I know this is gonna get copyrighted no matter what. But yeah, which leads into season 8, which had one of the worst stories, but had a great costume. Basically, Barry, Eobard changes the future, and Barry is going insane because, like, a bunch of random and horrible things are happening, and it's really irritating Barry, and Barry just wants to kill Thawne, but, you know, they don't kill Thawne, they just take his speed, and then Thawne is like, "You took everything from me!" Okay. Which is why I don't like Thawne. Okay. Thawne is technically slower than Barry. And Barry still decides in Season 7 that he won't just apprehend Thawne before he can, per se, do anything in Season 8. Season 8 is basically pointless, because Eobard Thawne could have been stopped like this, literally forever ago. And yeah, that is really all I can say. Wow, this is a long video. 30 minutes for 8 seasons of The Flash. I think that's fair. We're also gonna play some clips, you know, like "There's nowhere to run," or "Run, Barry, run," you know. But thank you for watching. Make sure to tune in for the next video, which is Arcane and Hitmonkey. I got some other videos to post. Really sorry I haven't been posting. Been having my own really break experience. Thanks. For watching, everyone. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.